Novaria just needs a little bit of time, I feel like. That's really where you want to play around the vision capability of this hero, and then later on you're using those Astral Recalls to chunk these members down. So great lineups for both of them, evenly distributed for damage for the most part, but really it comes down to that, right? Who sets this pace first between these two powerhouse teams, again in this upper bracket match between Indonesia and the Philippines, a very common foe against each other.
We're now going to witness a classic. It's Indonesia versus Philippines in game number 1. Let's see who is going to prevail in this challenge. It's amazing to see. We have an amazing crowd right here from both of these countries, and even citizens of Iași, Romania, joining us right now. Amazing matches ahead.
Man, I feel like both countries literally imported audience here too. I know there's a cheering crowd even anywhere you go when you're watching Indonesia, man. They have a whole cheering squad
with balloons
and yeah, with the clappers too. It's awesome. They're just missing the drums. You know?
Oh, imagine if that was present here.
Hey,
there's
you
a
don't
complete one-man band here for each of the teams, just having a great crowd cheer.
Maybe the grand final, right? They pull those out. Still, this is the early game. What we usually expect. A little bit of poking. Nice hook already landing. Looking for the first blood. Moreno going to be in trouble. Couple hits away. Gets it with the first blood in the hands of 𝐄𝐄𝐅 here on the Lancelot. What a great start.
Yeah, speaking of start here for Philippines, a jump start. A great way of delaying more of the jungler here of Indonesia, although he's on level 3. Rocking the Quantum Charge here. More hits. Gets a great amount of HP just by being in these kinds of team fights. But in the early game stage, you don't want to commit most of the time, so if you want to get vision, but at some parts, you need to have your level 4 right away for the first hurdle of the game.
Yeah, I love this too, right? The fact that most of these Franco players now running the focusing mark emblem allows them to, once they land that iron hook, once you see someone just get hooked towards the Franco, it's most likely going to be a kill if one of these members are there for him, right? To the follow-up to get that bonus damage in. And if it's 𝐄𝐄𝐅 here on this Lancelot, great for him, right? He's able to utilize that.
Yeah, and just by looking at 𝐄𝐄𝐅 is on a pure rage with this Lancelot. Just looking at the poking ability, amplifying maybe an adaptive attack of penetration from magic to damage. Interesting choice and a routing for Philippines. What a hook!
Another hook going to land. Ken, though, Super Ken will be fine. Still going to come down to the retribution here. 𝐄𝐄𝐅 goes in, but it's actually going to be secured by Archangel. Meanwhile, nobody goes down here. Pulling back here on the retreat, no one falls. Turtle, though, secured for Philippines. Interesting that you pointed that out, too, right? In pure rage on this Lancelot. Is that, is that going to work? Is that intended here? How does that come into play for a Lancelot jungle?
Well, now you have adaptive attack and penetration for this. If he builds upon most of the damage items, it gives an additional way of having a hybrid amount. Look at Archangel with that additional, precise, concise dropping down that Astral Recall and Echo, because at that point, 𝐄𝐄𝐅's retribution was still not available.
Yeah, not much you can do there. That's what I'm talking about, man. The decisiveness with Franco, flickering in, using that ultimate, the bloody hunt. It's a clean kill. How do you play against that, right? How do you go defensive mode against that type of decision making? Really, you kind of have to just get to the point. Here's the hard guard on Super Ken. Going down. Nice pickup kill, putting Indonesia on the board here. That's what they needed. It also went in the hands of Super Ken. So hopefully he can take that, scale up really well in the jungle.
Good rotation there onto the river where the Turtle might show up. But just by the presence of this Angela, having 3 warrior boots here, you have extra armor and also have steel leg plates onto this Uranus. Probably he wanted to sustain more damage that you can take from a Rizla. You have Spell Vamp and a Rock and Brave Smite. You might want to deflect that early on if you want to have more spams in the back line of the Philippines. Now, looking at the camera right here, we're up top, so I can take a bit of damage from 𝐿𝐿𝐿 against Brody. This time around, Saken and 𝐿𝐿𝐿 continuing the showdown back then.
Battle of the gold laners, right? This is what we were highlighting leading into this matchup. And really, if you try to break it down, like what lane do I pay attention to? It's every lane here, right? Because everyone is going to play the part, and you'll see it kind of unfold as the game goes on. Second turtle now, big objective for the taking. Heartguard going to be on 𝐿𝐿𝐿, trying to tank as much as damage as possible. Quite tanky. 𝐄𝐄𝐅 could be in trouble. Penalty zone used. Archangel now making his way. Has to lay down some of the covering fire. Flicker comes out from Canon. 𝐸𝐸 will fall there. A kill going in the hands of Vin. Meanwhile, Turtle will be secured here by Indonesia. Slowly but surely, they're finding wins across the map.
𝐄𝐅, one-man army defense, zone out, box out onto the Philippines. Well, poked out a lot of resources as well, but just being in the presence in the front line with a follow-up with hard gun and the love waves, that is a problem with the Philippines that needs to commit. Either they go in or for an attack or for a retreat. But at some point, that is the danger right now of the Angela. Having this impure rage right onto his hands, poking, and as he build on through the magic damage, is a bit of a challenge for Philippines to build it with the defense items heading on from minute 8.
Still at this point, 5 minutes in, it's pretty much even, right? Economy-wise as well, a little bit of a lead here for the Philippines. Again, it's 2 for 2. Well distributed too, as in terms of the kills, right? But this time, 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 having that early kill on this Brody will help them scale up a little bit here, right? Now, you just have to manage this kind of lead that you have so that it doesn't get out of control, and that's what Indonesia has to do. They seem to be doing just fine. Once again, it's 1 for 1 for the Turtles. You can see the pressure here for the jungle as well. 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 getting pushed in a little bit on his own resources, will be fine, has to use that tool. Now, 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅, once again, Super Ken with the hard guard, going to be putting pressure here. Archangel in trouble, goes in under the turret with that, and now 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 will follow along with the turret as well. Another solid pickup for Indonesia here. Meanwhile, in mid lane, the trade across the map. They finally get some space to work with for the Philippines. 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 able to spot them out. Shouldn't be able to convert much, but look at this. Indonesia making their way here. Not going to be able to catch 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 just yet. So still, across the map happening. Still even here, OSX.
Experience translating into success. Going back on this replay, 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 was in trouble. Two members there of Indonesia was present, trying to take on the turret, but that point in time, Moreno has the ultimate. A lot of poke potential was thrown away and peeled everything out of the Philippines to go back to their own defenses, and just as that, with a diversion play that Indonesia made, also Philippines found a way to have a cross-map objective trade.
Once again, Turtle up, third one, last one of the game here. Heart guard on 𝐈𝐄𝐅, taking the brunt of this damage. Gonna get locked down, poked down with Astral Recall as well. Will get whittled down until he finally falls. Penalty zone committed as well. 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 quite low, has to get out of there. It's secured by 𝐸𝐄𝐄𝐅, able to get the third turtle here for the Philippines. Look at the push up top though. Sakin putting in work solo.
Wow, just by in a macro scale, no matter how or what objective that they lost, they traded with a push, they traded with a tower take. Man, Indonesia and Philippines right now is not even going far ahead with a gold deficit, but just by looking at the priority, even for the items and even with the push, they can still get in par with the defenses. Now, by just having an item check here, we have the Ice Queen wand onto Arcangel, amplifying that slow on the Ice Queen wand, a basic build-up to even complement their team setups, especially with the focusing mark. This amplifies more of the basic attacks of this Brody. Having the quantum charge, a lot of ways can even be developed in terms of damage. That's what you notice in an all-in state just in the bottom. They just have a way to see a window, and when they have that, they take it.
This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, at this point, whether you're giving up some type of objective or not, the team is going to make a play somewhere else, right? And that's kind of these micro decisions on the macro skill, or the macro decision that changes the course of the game here. The pressure up there on the top side that was put there, the tier 2 is gone now. You know, and as we get to the territory of these lords popping up, that is going to play a part in here. Let's take a quick look at this item rundown, though, quickly.
Yeah, we have the Blade of Heptasis present. We have Tough Boots here present as well. You have the passive, the Encourage. You have extra attributes in the damage, plus physical penetration, the Malefic Roar. Probably building off of the Blade of the Spear of the Brody, but now he is the richest marksman now on this game in this first 9-minute mark. So with this, by not being disturbed around, it amplifies more of the passive of the Blade of Heptasis, which is the ambush. So finding going to the back line is the major problem that Indonesia wants to solve. Who's going to go up front? Yes, there's an Angela, but once they commit, it needs to go all in.
Oh, look what they're going for. They're going to land the hook here right on Super Ken in his own jungle. Can't escape it as he falls right on target. Wow. A huge penalty zone coming out from Cannon. Not able to follow up on the kill just yet, but they force them back all in time for this Lord. Now that this is the first one of the game, a big play here for the Philippines.
Yeah, that is what I told you. Commitment needs to even show much more confident, much more precise. The control and amount in the macro skill of the Philippines right now is too much of a problem. They go top, they go to bottom. Man, everything is just going crazy. And even with the lead right now, we're looking at a 4K gold lead. And we heard it conceal down bottom.
Conceal.
Somebody might be in trouble here. Vin, though!
Yeah, you're not. Not escaping it. Conceal, I don't even know if you needed the conceal there, right? He was trapped. Next thing you know, he sees Franco there. Franco, man, right? That's not going to work out for you. So he goes down. Now you have the Lord marching up the top side. Remember I was talking about economy being pretty much even across the board? Well, now look, it's really in favor of the Philippines. As they continue to work around this Lord push, they're going to get these next turrets, right? That's what they're set on. They're letting that Lord push in with 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 here. The tier 2 now in the bottom lane will go down. Indonesia has to defend their base turrets at this point. It should be relatively easy to clear it out, right? They have the tools that they need, but they will lose these outer turrets here.
10 minutes. Team Philippines remains deathless. PHI 𝐈𝐄𝐅 right now rocking that hybrid onto the Imperial Rage just by building this an additional item to sustain more of the damage. A lot of ways they can't get to the team fight, but somebody got caught.
Another hook. Heart guard on Sock, and he's already used the Blazing Duet, but they can't capitalize on it. He's still going to be alive. Finally, Moreno's going to fall. They look for another 3 down for Indonesia. Recutiano able to get the killing spree. Now Chorizo in trouble. Double kill on this Brody, and they're going to assault the base. It's only Vin. It's a disaster for them as Philippines looks to close game number 1 on a clean wipeout there. The crystals worked on, and they take first blood in the series.
And just as that, 11
jungle, right? So that you got Joy in the jungle here, and at the same time, this has always been up for debate, right? Before we jump into that game, where does Joy work the best? And it's reminiscent of back in the day too, not way back in the day, but Julian, right? There was a time Julian was very similar.
Oh, I missed
he
that
fit
guy.
in like 3 roles.
Julian. When
Right?
there was a season, it's
Julian
all
and
Julian.
Joy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is
Double
about
J,
the J's here, but do you feel like that's actually effective jungler, the Joy here?
Up against the
Baksha?
Baksha? Could be if he gets her first item in, because if you want to annoy something out of the backline of the Philippines, that could be the one. Will this be the game-changing match of Indonesia to push it forward to a game number 3? Now we're back at the game. Will this be the match point, or will Indonesia bounce back? 𝐄𝐒𝐅 now being present, rocking the lethal ignition. Okay, a different adaptive damage here for this XP lane matchup up against Cannon, who is on the Quantum Charge. Basic hits, gets extra HP regen, but onto the side of the jungle here for the Joy, we see it once again. It's good to see Joy back in the jungle. And at this of a threat being present here up against 𝐈𝐄𝐅 here, he has more sustain, he has more ways of...
For the Philippines as we jump back into the game. Let's see how things unfold. Also take note, look at the poke
Look
hair.
at that.
Chorizo on this 𝐄𝐒𝐅, making it a little bit hard, right? Early on for Cannon here in that lane matchup.
He's not leaving his lane. By just having the skill to use it used over and over again, he could continually just poke the hell out of Cannon by just sustaining his own path and clearing wave. This sets him up for a good first take on even the turtle now. Moreno, on the other hand, received some pokes there, almost on half HP. On just in the middle. Chorizo, though, on the other hand, takes a hell out of an HP out of 𝐈𝐄𝐅. Forced out of flicker as well.
You gotta hold on here. There was a hook, was gonna land, but they can't capitalize on this pickoff just yet. We're 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds away from that first turtle of the game here. So this is what I was talking about, right? The pressure between these two teams, looking for some type of pickoff if they can find it. But right now, nothing's gonna happen. A little bit of a play quite low here. Chorizo should be able to do just fine. Charge back up as he does. A couple seconds away from that turtle, right? This is where things kind of come into play.
Yeah.
They still need to hit that level 4, though. A lot of them don't have it just yet.
Yeah, a bit of a lead, though, for Philippines. Sets things up. All 4 levels present for Arcangel and 𝐈𝐄𝐅. You can get a good vision with the Astral Recall, Natural Echo. Might as well the turtle squeeze onto the passive of a Baksha. Now, having concussive blast, if this guy gets tankier by the minute or 2, having extra damage and armor, you have AoE-based damage, HP. But look at that, 𝐈𝐄𝐅 onto 3.
𝐈𝐄𝐅, a little bit in a pickle here, gonna get chased back to the base. Super Ken will get the first blood. Big pickoff here. If they get the jungler, a nice hook though. They have a response, the 1-2 punch from Cannon. And it's a 1-for-1, and now the turtle up for the taking. They've got to wait though. They've got to reset. They need to get these buffs as well.
Yeah, 3 minutes, nobody's taken a turtle yet. And just by the first skill on 𝐈𝐄𝐅 there, this was what the thing we were talking about. How do you escape the beats of a Joy And how do you even go and slow it down? But Cannon being chased down by 2. Look at that knock-up onto 2 as well.
Had that champion stance. There you go. Turtle secured. They back off. Better that they do that, unless they go for a hook here. I'm not sure if they want to. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, Iron Hook's not going to land, but Turtle, first one of the game, secured here for the Philippines. And you can see that. You have to be able to respect some of this poke damage, the poke potential, just from having this Navario across from you if you're Indonesia.
Yeah, look at that exchange. Regenerating down in its own turret there. 𝐄𝐅, hook landed on. And this time around, they have the ultimate of 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. They have the Bloody Hunt. Moreno has the Bloody Hunt, has the extra catch, has the extra bite. That could be served for either Super Ken. But just looking at the items here, we have the Magic Penetration Boots present for Super Ken. Adds a little bit of flavor now with the Lethal Ignition. On the other side of the map here, we have 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 has the Elegant Gem. So building up the mana as well as the boots. But one thing to see here for the damage is the Beatrix. Oh, just pick up the Clock of Destiny. We have the scaling attributes present for minute 5 or even 10. So by this time around, they can actually have a better scaling with this Navario. And right now, just probably getting eye on the vision.
Look at that, right? Just keeping Saken back, at least from this lane a little bit. Nice hook and land once again. The target is there. Vin will fall. Now looking for a follow-up. A huge Astral Recall coming up. Looking for the follow-up. Will sidestep that. Able to live to see another day here. But it's moments like that. Once again, it's starting to compound here for the Philippines. Now about a comfortable almost 2K gold ahead. There has to be a response. Look at the top lane. Saken's going to be in trouble here. Can't escape it. Will fall. Actually, okay, the response from 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 goes in with his own flicker, able to get the kill. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, it's everywhere, 𝐈𝐿_X. Everything is everywhere between these two teams. The 1-2 punch from Canon. Can't get the kill, though. He's hungry for it.
But now Canon is up ahead by 2 XP levels up against this Khalid, 𝐄𝐅, by looking back on how the Beatrix went aggressive by using that flicker. It's a one way of securing and amplifying your time to get damage items in. Now another view here, Vin is now hooked by 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅. Saison secures the turtle for themselves. Bloody Hunt though.
There's the lockdown. Vin gonna be in trouble. Will fall once again. Still looking for more. Philippines, time and time again. Turtle kill. They back off. They're happy with it. And that's what I'm saying. It's these small wins, these small victories that build up into those massive snowballs of momentum.
Yeah, speaking of momentum here, on to the lead. We're looking at 4K for the deficit of the Philippines right now. And just by looking at their jungler here, we're looking at Saison. But look at that. Pokes onto 2.
Wow.
Cannon still survives.
This is why they love that 𝐵𝑒𝑘𝑖TO so much, right? He's able to do that confidently. With the way the mechanics work here on this 𝐵𝑒𝑘𝑖TO, finally the turret will go down. Indonesia looking for some space to work with. They take that tier 1 down and they look for more here across the map. They have to be careful, have to be crucial on how they approach some of these lanes. They can't get caught out.
Yeah, we have the Radiant Armor present for Saison here. More soak and has more a bit of a sponge for the magic damage of Moreno here. He hasn't got any ultimate yet from the side of the Philippines. Probably eyeing for the Bloody Hunt again, and as well as the Astral Recall. Either you pick 2, either you get the Vision or you get the extra bite. Because if we're looking at a setup here, it could actually lie only for Vin. Flicker for the Numenon Blast could actually be the key here for getting a great setup or even a poke or even a great team fight. But if that misses or that doesn't even work, it either falls down. So in other way, Indonesia right now has a bit of a fail-safe button just in case it doesn't go a good way for Vin.
Great choice there, Indonesia. Just going to get that tier 1, but they're going to get clapped down here on the top side. Still on the hunt, Cannon Fist, full force. Going to get stunned with the Numenon Blast. Huge setup there. He will fall. How's the response from Indonesia, though? They only get 1. They back off. They take the smart choice. They don't want to get hooked. They still have to get back here to the safety of their turrets. Meanwhile, Philippines losing 1. That's the life that Indonesia needs here. Turtle now up, 3rd one of the game. They're in a great position to contest it. Hook and land on Vin again. He's doing a great job at being this front man for Indonesia. That's what he's got to do. The rest of the team going to go ahead and clear that wave up. Turtle still fought for here between both.
Okay, just by looking at the gold laners right now, look at the flicker, misses the chance for 𝐄𝐅 just on the sandwalk. HP though goes, who's gonna get it? Stripiano.
They went for it, still gonna be going. They don't have that flicker available. Bennett's Rage gonna come down. Cereza will fall, still down a member. Vin finding a huge Newman on blast, 4 members following up on it. Another fall, it's 3 down for the Philippines. Vin took hook after hook and he waited for that moment and he got it, swinging the favor for Indonesia.
That's what I'm talking about there. A few seconds earlier, how do you make the Numenon Blast and Flicker work? That was the damage they were feeling as I saw takes the kill onto Cereza, but Vin onto the bush, catching 3, disabling the Iron Hook. A great way to show damage right onto the Philippines, and they took down 3 out of that 8-minute mark.
That was absolutely massive. That was 4 that he actually got, just on the edge there, able to get another. And when you pick Lolita, that's what you hope for. You hope for moments like that. Even if, again, early game, he took a lot of hooks, but that counts. And now, once again, they've narrowed down that gold lead. They're back in this game. That's exactly what Indonesia needed. And it's on the whims, the shoulders of Vin here. Look at the fighting potential they have. Bloody Hunt's gonna come through. Vin will now fall. After that, it looks like Indonesia just wants to call it back here. They're quite low. Socket as well has to heal back up. They might just lose this tier 1 in the mid.
Yeah, just by this, they will be eyeing on taking down defenses now of Indonesia, looking for this. Super Ken is going right in the front.
Super Ken running off a little more than he can chew. He will fall quickly. Moreno, 1 hit away, goes down as well. And just when it was looking so good, Indonesia, they make these mistakes and they fall down 20 seconds before that Lord comes up here.
Well, we saw that Brody, we saw Saken release that Malefic Roar, and he had to have his Malefic Roar. He released the torn apart memory by just escaping the skirmish, but that didn't proc the Blade of Heptases. It was missing damage right onto the button that he pressed once he wanted to take down a member out of the Philippines. So if you want to have that extra bit of damage, he's probably building up 1 more additional physical penetration damage to cope up with the distance and even an escape path just in case he gets be the one to fall down.
So that's the hard part, right? Joy Jungle. And if you go into the fray and you're, again, Franco is across from you, you get locked down, you're kind of just taken care of so fast that it's unfortunate, right? Another hook with a flicker combination, the Bloody Hunt too. Vin falls again. Lord gonna be secured by Inigo. Can they turn it around though? Another double here for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. They're on the chase. Can they get away? A hook again. He's a madman. Triple for this Beatrix. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 is unleashing on Indonesia. Do they clap down? Socket in trouble, and it's another kill for the Philippines.
An amazing counter go when they thought that Vin would want to set up that Numenon Blast. It was the opening of Unigo to take with the advantage of the focusing mark. He just literally feel the kill for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅, and being up front, Super Ken just went in the front line of the Philippines and he just burst it down quickly.
My God, team's got to take care of this Franco, man. I think this, what is it, the 4th series of the day, and at this point, Franco has changed the course of almost every series he's appeared in. And when it's in the hands of players like this, like Unigo, my God, is it a showcase.
A showcase of the longest Iron Hook.
Yeah.
It's going, man. Completely going into the playoffs here. Astral Recall, Astral Echo's being used. A lot of ways to utilize this, but there is a Lord push down bottom. There is
they're going to go
stunned.
in. They get the stun out with the storm here. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 could be in trouble, but look at the covering fire. They're going to force them all back here. Cannon jumps into the fray. Punch after punch. Double kill. They're on a slaughter fest here, and now into the base they go. 2 members left for Indonesia.
Are they
They're
finishing
going for it. They want to end this in a sweep. Another hook. It's a wipeout, and the Philippines did it. They sweep Indonesia, sending them to the lower bracket.